Today, I want to share with you a story that delves deep into the complexities of love, trust, and the aftermath of betrayal. It is not just a tale of heartache. It is a journey of discovery where the lines between right and wrong, loyalty and deceit, blur in the most poignant way. Our central figure, Alex, is a 32-year-old IT consultant who finds himself at the crossroads of his life, marking the decline of his marriage to Clara, a woman who has been both a partner and a source of profound confusion. Let us examine the foundation of their relationship. Alex and Clara's marriage, which started with such promise, evolved into a turbulent reality filled with hidden resentments and desires. Clara, 28 years old, and an ambitious graphic designer striving for a career, has tethered her dreams to Alex's success. To the outside world, their life appears picture-perfect, sustained by Alex's steady income, allowing Clara to pursue her part-time work without immediate financial pressure. However, as we peel back the layers, we find that what seemed like unwavering support might have been more selfishly motivated. Alex is not just an ambitious worker. He is also a man with dreams of starting a family. Yet time and again, Clara postpones those dreams, opting for an extravagant lifestyle fueled by the funds Alex brings in. Although Alex's job provides comforts and luxuries, he feels an underlying tension in their union. His instincts whisper of something amiss. Perhaps Clara enjoys the glitz of his networking events, not for the professional engagement, but for the cocktails, social mingling, and the attention she acquires from others. Alex notices it too when at gala events, Clara often dances on the edge of flirtation, seemingly captivated by the allure of the evening rather than the cause they champion. It is often said that love is blind, and Alex exemplifies this sentiment. He holds on to the belief that Clara shares his vision of their future, supporting him unconditionally, giving her all in a manner that might sometimes appear superficial. Yet buried in the back of his mind, he wonders if he is merely enabling a relationship that might not mirror his own aspirations. Moments of doubt flicker like candlelight, illuminating the shadows of their life together, but he repeatedly puts them aside, convinced of Clara's dedication until one fateful evening, the inciting incident strikes with the force of a hurricane after a particularly draining networking event. While Alex yearns for the comfort of home and the solace of Clara by his side, she insists on attending an exclusive after-party at a trendy downtown lounge. He wishes to reconnect for a quiet evening alone, yet Clara, teeming with excitement, arranges for a ride with Julian. Julian is not just any colleague. He is a charismatic art collective mentor Clara has known for some time, a man whom Alex can never fully trust, even in fleeting thoughts. As Alex watches Clara embrace this decision with enthusiasm, a profound sense of betrayal burgeons. He expresses his desire for them to spend the evening together, only to find his plea disregarded. The seeds of anger and confusion begin to take root in his heart. That evening, which should have felt like a reunion of two souls, instead feels like a sandstorm tearing through the heart of their marriage. Amid his internal turmoil, Alex recalls an old tablet he gave Clara, still synced with their shared messaging applications. Driven by curiosity and unease, he accesses it, and everything changes. What unfolds is nothing short of a nightmare. Alex witnesses the real-time conversation between Clara and Julian, messages filled with flirtation that escalate into explicit exchanges, revealing a reality he never anticipated. The dawning horror of the situation grips him with such intensity that he is rendered physically ill, trembling uncontrollably as the buyer's remorse of trust hits him like a freight train. In that moment, he comes face to face with an unsettling truth. Clara's affections might not lie solely with him. When she returns home, Alex strives to confront her while grappling with his disbelief, hoping against hope she will provide an explanation that makes sense of the chaos. But Clara, still basking in the afterglow of her evening, underplays the significance of the night, leaving crucial details buried in a web of lies. Here is where the emotional wreckage begins. Alex takes a breath, prepares for the confrontation, and steels himself against the storm of emotions raging within. As he pieces everything together, the messages, the infidelities, the facade, something deep within him shifts. He realizes in horror that this is no longer the time for compassion or support. It is time for a reckoning. The journey that awaits him will not just be one of heartbreak. It will be about rediscovering himself amidst the shambles left by a woman he thought he knew, a woman who now feels like a stranger. What happens next will test Alex's resilience, force him to confront profound betrayal, and uncover just how fragile trust can be in the complex dance of love. This tale of Alex and Clara is a reminder that even the strongest of foundations can crumble beneath us, but what truly matters is how we rise from the ruins. In the coming parts, we will dive deeper into the emotions that arise from betrayal, the confrontation that shatters their lives even further, and ultimately the journey Alex embarks upon toward healing and self-discovery. Join me as we continue this exploration into the human heart, a journey full of twists, pain, and hopefully the prospect of redemption. Today, we continue the saga of Alex and Clara, a tale rooted in the depths of love, betrayal, and the arduous journey of self-discovery. In the previous part, we witnessed the foundation of their relationship, built on trust and mutual dreams, begin to show cracks as Clara's actions threatened to unravel everything Alex thought he knew. The inciting incident loomed on the horizon, and the fallout from that pivotal moment would send ripples through their lives in ways they could never foresee. In this second part, we will explore the intense confrontation that follows the revelation of Clara's betrayal, as well as the shocking confessions that shatter Alex's world. Imagine the tension in Alex's apartment after Clara returns home from that fateful night. The air is thick with unspoken words, and every corner seems to hold echoes of intimacy now tainted with betrayal. Alex's heart races. He is a man caught in the storm of confusion and rage, each conflicting emotion swirling inside him like a tempest. After witnessing the devastation of Clara's messages laced with desire and betrayal, he knows the confrontation is inevitable. He curls his fingers into fists, summoning the courage he desperately needs as Clara steps through the door. Alex. Clara's voice, bright and deceptively innocent, resonates through the silence. In that moment, it feels as if time stands still. The warmth of her presence clashes with the frigid disbelief coursing through him. Alex grapples with his emotions, feeling as if each word she speaks both draws him closer and pushes him further away. He watches her, searching for any hint of guilt, remorse, or even awareness of the devastation she has left in her wake. Attempting to maintain control, he takes a deep breath, his voice steadier than he feels. "You went to the after-party with Julian," he states, each word like a stab in the gut. Clara flinches but quickly masks her reaction. "You are not being fair, Alex. I just wanted to have fun. It was an event for my career too." "But that is not the point." Alex cuts in, the heat of anger igniting within him. "You ignored my feelings. I told you I wanted to spend the evening together." The word "together" hangs in the air, laden with the weight of what is no longer theirs. Clara looks down, biting her lip, another sign of her unease. "It was just drinks with friends," she protests weakly, but Alex sees through her walls of denial. Fueled by the evidence of deception, a surge of fury propels him to his next move. "You were flirting with him. There is more than just drinks happening. I saw your messages." Clara's face pales, and for a moment the brazen confidence she exudes crumbles. "Alex, you do not understand," she pleads, her voice wavering. But he does understand. He understands that her words have become nothing more than lifelines she is frantically grasping in the storm that she has created. In a crucial moment, Alex decides to lay it all bare. "You had sex with him. You had sex with him, Clara. I saw it all." The air thickens, the truth hanging heavily between them, grotesque yet unavoidable. Clara's eyes widen, and suddenly there is nowhere to hide. I, she stutters, scrambling for words to form an excuse. A moment too late, the facade has shattered. "Do you even grasp the depth of what you have done?" he asks, his voice rising, the pain evident in every syllable. Clara's story spills forth, an unwilling confession of lust and misplaced desires. She speaks of another client, of affairs that had taken root long before that night. It is as if she is exorcising the demons that have infiltrated their marriage, and yet to Alex, it feels as if she is abandoning him wholly in the process. The more Clara reveals, the less Alex understands. She confesses to encounters that had transpired right beneath his very nose, even in their own home, while he lay oblivious in the next room. Each admission is a dagger, piercing through the remnants of trust and love, In that moment, Alex realizes that the woman he had loved through years of shared aspirations is but a hollow shell of someone he once believed was steadfast and loyal. As the confrontation strips away the layers of their union, Alex feels himself unraveling, the words she speaks poisoning his hopes and dreams for the future they once envisioned together with clarity. Born from grief, he knows there is no path back to what they had. "Help me pack your things," he says finally, his voice frail yet resolute. "You need to leave." Watching her struggle to gather her belongings, he feels detached, almost as if he is standing outside himself, observing the scene like a silent film. The reality of their broken promises crystallizes in this moment. He aids in her departure without a shred of resentment or anger, only a hollow ache that resonates deep within him. As she moves through the apartment they once filled with laughter and hope, he is confronted with vivid memories that play like a loop in his mind, a montage of moments that have now taken on a bittersweet hue. As Clara steps out, leaving behind not just her belongings but the traces of a life they built, Alex grapples with the aftermath of the confrontation. He is left standing in the silence that follows, a silence deafening in its truth. He listens to his own thoughts, a cacophony of confusion, disbelief, and a dawning realization of his own worthlessness. Even as despair tries to weave itself into the fabric of his existence, his heart aches with uncertainty regarding what comes next. In this swirling tempest of emotions, he knows one thing: he must seek clarity, but the path forward seems obscured, shrouded in shadows cast by Clara's betrayal. In the ensuing hours, Alex finds himself spiraling into a vortex of memories, replaying their moments together with a newfound lens, the laughter shared at dinner, the kisses that once felt electric, and dreams that seemed so tangible. Each recollection serves to highlight the dissonance of Clara's actions, her infidelity forcing him to question everything they once held sacred. Overwhelmed, he realizes that the love he had poured into their life together may have been blindly misplaced. Shattering the illusion of their happy marriage unleashes a flood of confusion and self-doubt. If Clara could betray him so easily, what does that say about him? Is he unworthy? Did he ignore warning signs? These questions unravel, leading him to lay the groundwork for the most difficult decision of his life. In the days that follow, lies unearth their roots. Alex embarks on a quest for legal counsel, confronting his fears and embracing the harsh reality of divorce. Clara, seemingly penitent, proposes couples therapy, an attempt to salvage what she believes can be fixed. But Alex knows in his heart that trust cannot be rebuilt on a foundation of lies and deceit. He cannot envision a future on a path paved with betrayal. Through legal consultations and heart-wrenching discussions with friends, he finds solace in the validation they provide. They affirm his right to take a stand, a chance to protect himself from further heartache. Yet even as he steels himself for the emotional upheaval divorce represents, there lingers a glimmer of hope. Hope that comes with the realization that this horrific betrayal is not just the end, but the beginning of a journey toward healing and reclaiming his identity. He has suffered grievous hurt, but through this agony he can find the strength to rise, rebuild, and redefine his future. As he reflects on his path, he contemplates the person he was before Clara, before the infidelity, and envisions a new beginning, one that starts with self-love and self-preservation. Little does he know, the future holds challenges yet unseen. The unraveling will not end here, rather it is merely the beginning of a painful but necessary journey toward rediscovery. In the next installment, we will delve into the aftermath, the depths of Alex's betrayal, and the trials he must endure as he seeks to emerge from the shadows of his past. Together, we will explore how he navigates the treacherous waters of trust, self-worth, and ultimately the journey toward acceptance and healing. Join me as we continue this poignant exploration of the human heart and the resilience it holds. As the night crested into dawn, the turmoil in Alex's heart remained unresolved. His apartment seemed to morph into a battleground, where memories of laughter and love collided with the stark reality of betrayal. Clara's departure left a resonance that echoed painfully through the rooms they once filled with warmth, the sweet scent of shared life now replaced by a choking pallor of deceit. Alex sat in the dim light of the early morning, the weight of the world pressing down upon him. A haze of disbelief clouded his mind as he braced for the inevitable confrontation that awaited Clara's return. Memories of their life together coalesced into a mosaic of heartache, a jarring illustration of faded trust and shattered dreams. He felt as though a vice was tightening around his chest, each beat of his heart resonating with feelings of confusion and rage. She would walk through that door soon, and with her the truth would spill forth, a truth he had both longed for and dreaded in equal measure. When Clara finally stepped over the threshold, the air felt thick with unspoken words, and Alex's heart raced with a torrent of emotions that were difficult to articulate. Alex. Clara's voice cut through the silence, beautifully aching in its innocence. He observed her, searching her features for any semblance of guilt or remorse, for any indication that she understood the gravity of her actions. Yet all he saw was a carefully crafted facade bearing down on his spirit like lead. "Why did you go?" The question tumbled from his lips, an instinctual urge to reclaim a semblance of control amidst the chaos. "After everything you just left. I told you I wanted to spend the evening together." "What were you expecting?" Clara retorted, a flicker of anger sparking in her eyes. "I wanted some fun, some support, at an event that is important to me as well." "Fun?" Alex challenged, his fists curling in a desperate bid for composure. "Is that what you call it?" "It is not about the drinks, Clara. It is about respect. You deliberately chose to ignore my feelings." She remained silent, her defense crumbling beneath the weight of reality. A flutter of remorse seemed to flash across her face, but it was short-lived, quickly replaced by the walls she fortified anew. "What do you want me to say?" she murmured, breaking eye contact. "I want you to say the truth," he said, a steely calm replacing his earlier agitation. "I know what I saw. You were flirting with Julian. There is more between you than simply shared drinks. I witnessed your entire conversation. I watched you both get lost in a web of intimacy that has no place in our marriage." And there it was, the truth shattered like glass, sharp and inevitable, hanging in the air between them. Clara's face blanched, and for an agonizing moment he saw disbelief etch itself across her features, an unformed excuse dancing on the tip of her tongue. "It was just harmless flirting," she defended, a tremor of vulnerability creeping into her voice, but Alex had already stepped past her defenses. "Harmless," he scoffed, disbelief boiling within him. "You had sex with him, Clara. Do you even comprehend the enormity of your actions?" "I saw the messages." Her eyes widened, and the mask she wore began to crumble. "Alex, please," she stuttered, grasping for justifications that evaporated in the crisp morning air. "It was a mistake." "A mistake?" he echoed, incredulous. "You want to call it a mistake when you carried on an affair not only with him but with others as well? You have shattered the very fabric of our marriage." Her voice trembled as she nodded, tears shimmering in her eyes, a concoction of feigned sorrow and honest realization. "I never meant to hurt you, it just happened." The words came tumbling out as if they had been rooted deep inside her, trembling with the weight of oblivion. "It was not only Julian. There were others before him too. Men from your work. I thought it was just a thrill, a momentary escape." Each new revelation was a dagger to Alex's heart, piercing through what was left of his trust, each confession unraveling the sinuous threads of hope he held on to. "You have betrayed everything we built," he whispered, the pain clawing at his throat. "I never meant to betray you. I thought I could keep it all separate," she pleaded, desperation creeping into her voice, yet he heard only the hollow tones of a deceitful heart. "Separate," he spat, rage and anguish intertwining in a dizzying maelstrom. "While I lay in our bed blissfully ignorant, you were destroying everything we shared under the same roof." Clara Stett's pain mixed with anger, suddenly ignited. "I was lonely. You were gone, working all the time, and I felt invisible." The words lashed out, revealing the crumbling walls of their estrangement. "I thought it didn't matter." "No," Alex shouted, the intensity of his emotions erupting into the air, shocking even himself. "It matters. You made a choice. You chose to pursue pleasure outside the bounds of our lives." The confrontation laid themselves bare in that moment, undiluted and all-consuming. Alex grappled with the reality that the woman he once believed to be devoted to him had adorned the facade of fidelity while weaving a web of treachery on the side. He gazed into Clara's eyes, once portals of happiness and affection, now transformed into harbors of shame and regret. Time seemed to stretch as the truth lingered, an unbearable weight that smothered his spirit. He studied Clara, Witnessing how the vibrant colors of their life together now bled into shades of gray, each revelation a somber stroke etching shadows onto their canvas of love. "Help me pack your things," he announced, his voice slipping into a fragile steadiness. The words hung between them, a harbinger of finality echoing through the air. "You need to leave. I cannot carry this burden anymore." Clara's face fell and despair washed over her as if she had been stripped of every vestige of her defenses. "Alex, please," she began. But he would have none of it. "Just do it," he urged, a profound sense of loss radiating from him. Beyond the anger lay an aching sorrow, a silent mourning for all they would never have again. "This is over. You cannot undo what has been done. You have breached a trust that cannot be repaired." As Clara's hands trembled with the weight of what was lost, Alex helped her gather remnants of a life filled with laughter, joy, and deep-rooted love, a life now twisted and broken by betrayal. Each item felt like a heavy stone, a testimony to the love they once shared but could never reclaim. In the midst of packing, he felt a detachment, almost as if he were watching a scene unfold in a movie, both devastating and surreal. It was a painful unraveling, an excavation of memories that felt hollow and murky, untouched by the love that once ignited them. As she prepared to leave, Alex knew his life would never be the same. The man he had been waited just beyond the fading echoes of their union. And yet, standing on the precipice of this painful goodbye, he felt a flicker of resolve begin to emerge from the turmoil within him. He looked at Clara, whose eyes brimmed with tears, each droplet reflecting the price of her choices. The gravity of what she had lost weighed heavily upon them both. Yet deep inside, Alex sensed something transformative stirring, a sliver of strength emerging from the wreckage of his heart. The door closed behind her with a soft finality, and with that, Alex was left standing in the remnants of what once was, embracing the pain, but also the freedom hidden within this tumultuous ending. The journey ahead promised to be fraught with challenges, but one thing was certain: he would no longer permit someone else's choices to define his worth. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the remnants of his shattered trust begin to morph into a burgeoning sense of self once more. He was determined to confront the darker yet necessary emotions that lay ahead, crafting a path both toward healing and resurrection, a journey he could finally begin to navigate. The next chapter of his life awaited him, a road leading through shadows yet illuminated by new possibilities. For now, this painful reckoning was but the beginning of his journey back into the light. Join me as we delve deeper into the aftermath of betrayal, revealing the depths of Alex's turbulent awakening and the startling paths that unfold before him. In the wake of Clara's departure, Alex found himself standing alone in their once happy home, every corner filled with echoes of laughter and love, now submerged under a torrent of raw emotion. Each moment of silence felt like an insistent reminder of the betrayal that had shattered the foundation of their life together. The apartment, which had once acted as a sanctuary, transformed into a mausoleum of what was and could have been. Within those walls, the ghosts of memories hung heavy in the air, and Alex could hardly breathe without feeling the weight of deception pressing down on him. Despite the chaos of his shattered heart, a part of him felt strangely liberated, a grim sense of freedom mingled with the visceral pain of betrayal. He knew he would never again share a home with Clara, never again experience the false normalcy they had constructed over 4 years of marriage. He could almost envision the contour of each promise they had made, now lying in tatters, strewn along the path of her choices. With Clara gone, the comfort he had longed for felt distant, yet he realized he no longer had to navigate this tumultuous life, tethered to her whims and unchecked desire. Still, turmoil surged within him, an uneasy mix of anger, betrayal, and guilt that would not subside. Alex had always prided himself on being rational and composed, yet now, as the days unfolded one after another, he found himself spiraling into obsessive thoughts about every intimate moment shared, every reassuring word spoken in the comfort of their home. Had he been blind to her real emotions, the depths of her dissatisfaction? Had he misread the signs as mere personality traits, eccentricities birthed from creativity? Confronting the specter of betrayal head-on, Alex found himself drawn to thoughts of revenge, an urge fueled by the need to regain a sense of control over the situation. He wondered about his options, picturing a scenario where he could expose Clara's infidelity, leaving no stone unturned. Yet buried within him was a conflicting voice that urged him to take the higher road, to rise above the mire of vengeance. As irrepressible survival instincts kicked in, he knew that indulging in retribution could lead to repercussions he would rather avoid. In the following weeks, the loneliness crept in like a shadow, stark against the sunlight streaming through the windows. Clara had left, and with her the life they had built together seemed to dissolve into nothingness. Alex focused on the mundane tasks, filling the emptiness with the mechanical rhythm of work, yet the absence of laughter and warmth gnawed at him, reminding him of the rift between them. He craved stability in his own life, a semblance of routine to contend with the chaos dancing in his mind. Compelled to reclaim his identity, Alex sought refuge in the solitude of his work. Long hours melted into late nights as he turned his focus to building his consulting practice. The world of algorithms and data, had always been a respite, an escape where he could lose himself in the intricacies of code. But this time, it was different. This time he was more determined. He pushed the boundaries of his expertise, diving into niche areas that challenged him intellectually and creatively. Gaining momentum in his career came as he built a robust client base, creating a foundation upon which new opportunities could flourish. Yet even amidst this professional renaissance, the underlying sorrow bubbled just beneath the surface. It manifested in sleepless nights, during which cycles of worry and grief consumed him. Each time he closed his eyes, memories of Clara washed over him, a bittersweet tide that ebbed and flowed, taunting him with better days. Though he tried to focus solely on work, the ghost of Clara loomed large. His desire to understand what had gone wrong danced alongside longing for closure, for a clarity he feared he may never attain. In his search for answers, Alex reluctantly sought legal advice regarding his impending divorce. A trip to the attorney's office flooded his mind with doubt and dread. He found himself grappling not only with the thoughts of separation, but also with feelings of failure, of their relationship crumbling beneath the weight of betrayal. Each consultation magnified his insecurities as he revisited memories of shared dreams of children and a future that was now shattered. He asked himself more questions than he could bear. Had he truly not seen the warnings? Was he so lost in his expectations and desires that he had disregarded her unhappiness? Despite the pain, he committed to protecting himself emotionally, financially, and every other way imaginable. He envisioned his life without Clara, and, for the first time, started to look forward to the prospect of healing. The weight of betrayal was still heavy in his heart, but slowly the resolve to reclaim his autonomy began to take root. The design of his future would no longer depend on someone else's choices. In the darkest throes of his despair, Alex recognized the embers of resilience flickering and working their way back to life. And it was that journey towards self-preservation that led him to accept Clara's suggestion for couples therapy, even though it seemed utterly futile. At their first session together, he realized with unexpected clarity that the marriage was beyond saving. The therapist encouraged open dialogue, but the truth loomed large. Alex knew deep down that trust had been shattered beyond repair. With that realization came a greater acceptance of his reality and the understanding that the road ahead would require steps he had yet to fathom. In those therapy rooms, painful truths emerged, and with each passing session, Alex stepped closer to the self he had once known, one who was grounded in his own values and aspirations. The shattered pieces of his life began to form a mosaic, not one of what he had lost, but rather a testament to what he could still build. It was in acknowledging both the currents of despair and the flickers of hope that he could lean into his own truth, sketching out the boundaries he needed for self-protection. As the weeks unfolded, addressing legal affairs grew essential, and coding turned into a method of quiet reflection amidst the storm of emotions. Little by little, Alex shifted his focus onto rediscovering his passion for life, cultivating new friendships and nurturing old ones. He preferred these connections to the complexities that Clara had brought into his life. Laughter began to filter back into his days, gnawing at the corners of his heart with gentle sweetness, reminding him that love would always ebb and flow in unexpected, beautiful ways. With time, Alex learned to rise above the shadows of betrayal and disappointment. He no longer sought to dwell in bitterness, but instead embraced the evolving journey of healing. Those moments of clarity, once darkened by pain, began to unfold familiarity, igniting sparks of hope as he charted his own way forward. Here lay the essence of resilience, a quiet determination to rebuild, to thrive, and to embrace the future on his own terms. The lessons of betrayal no longer weighed him down. Instead, they forged into a strength that would carry him, a force from which new beginnings could emerge. His journey was far from over, but in the direction he was moving, he could finally breathe a little easier. Join me next time as we explore the path of healing, self-discovery, and the profound impact of forging a new identity in the aftermath of heartbreak. In the wake of heartbreak, the journey toward healing often feels like navigating a dense fog, with the road ahead obscured and uncertain. For Alex, this fog had been particularly thick, hanging heavily over him in the months following Clara's departure. Each day was a wrestling match between lingering sorrow and the flickers of newfound hope. As he moved deeper into this uncharted territory, he discovered that this time of introspection could also serve as a blueprint for rebuilding his sense of self. The decision to cut Clara out of his life was not merely one of necessity, but of self-affirmation. By muting friends and blocking Clara from all aspects of his online world, Alex began to carve a space where he could reclaim his narrative. He realized that curating his surroundings was just as vital to his emotional well-being as addressing his mental state. Every notification that pinged on his phone was a reminder of a past he wanted to forget, and in silencing that reminder, he started to hear the whispers of a future filled with possibilities. Alex found solace in the clarity of his professional life. Transitioning from a corporate IT consultant to an independent tech specialist brought about a sense of agency he had yearned for amidst the chaos of his marriage. He dedicated himself to specializing in security solutions, a niche that not only aligned with his skill set, but also offered him the autonomy he craved. With every client he secured, Alex felt confidence bloom within him. He started to understand that his worth was not bound to his relationship with Clara, but rather tied to his talents and tenacity. The hours he poured into his new endeavor unveiled a landscape of commitment and ingenuity, reintroducing him to his potential. Simultaneously, the transformation in his professional life spilled over into his personal endeavors. For the first time in years, Alex began prioritizing his health. He enrolled in a gym, picked up running, and even experimented with cooking new recipes in the kitchen. Each small victory, running an extra mile, preparing a meal from scratch, turned into a triumph over the silence that had once enveloped him. With every drop of sweat and every healthy choice, he built a new foundation rooted in self-respect and empowerment. Who knew that the magic of a vibrant life could emerge from choices grounded in self-care? Yet it is essential to acknowledge that healing is neither linear nor straightforward. Despite these advancements, moments of doubt occasionally seeped into his consciousness. Memories of Clara, especially those that evoked moments of joy or laughter, sometimes resurfaced to challenge his peace. Alex struggled with feelings of inadequacy that were remnants of their failed relationship. He questioned whether he was still the same person he had been before their entanglement. Would he ever be able to trust again, especially in romantic contexts? These thoughts, while unsettling, were part of the narrative of recovery. They served as reminders of his journey, a tapestry woven from threads of experiences that shaped who he was trying to become. As months turned into a year since the rupture, Alex started pushing himself to consider the idea of dating once more. This process was fraught with its own set of anxieties, where the weight of past betrayals lingered like a specter at the back of his mind. Online dating felt like an ultra-competitive venue, saturated with portraits, bios, and misleading intentions. Each swipe felt reminiscent of financial losses, with the caution to distrust manifesting in his interactions. But deep within there was also a flicker of hope, the potential for meaningful connection. He understood that with vulnerability comes the possibility of encountering genuine companionship. Though the thought of future relationships filled him with trepidation, Alex reminded himself that vulnerability is not weakness. It is a bridge to authentic connection. As he began to navigate the complex world of dating, every small connection forged became an exercise in self-discovery. He reflected on the lessons derived not only from his marriage to Clara, but from the resilience that emerged from their dissolution. The clarity he had garnered about his dreams of becoming a father and a partner transformed into guideposts leading him toward a fulfilling future. Indeed, healing and growth are lifelong journeys. Alex learned that it is not merely about moving on from Clara, but about moving forward with intention, embracing the uncertainty, and remaining open to the potential of new beginnings. With a heart that craved authenticity and a spirit anchored in self-respect, he faced the future with a sense of gratitude for the lessons learned. Each step took him further from the echoes of betrayal and closer to a life defined by choices made from a place of strength rather than fear. As the sun cast a warm glow over the horizon, Alex would reflect on the landscape of his rebirth, not as a victim of betrayal, but as a sculptor of his own destiny. Hope lingered in the air, whispering promises of joy, growth, and the possibility of love. His journey had become an affirmation of resilience, a narrative reclaimed not only from shadows but crafted into a story he would choose to tell going forward. You have reached the end of this journey with Alex. If you found meaning in this story, do not forget to give a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Healing is a universal experience, and your voice may be the encouragement someone else needs. Also, if you would like to continue exploring themes of resilience, self-discovery, and genuine connection, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Together, let us embark on more enlightening narratives that inspire growth and authenticity. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and keep shining bright.